And
yeah,
we're
and be
live.
careful.
We're live. Be careful.
We're on there.
Hi everyone. Oh, this is way too close. Hi everyone. welcome to this. I'm your host, Dat, and my guests. Today we're discussing the Unity update. But first I'll introduce my guests. This is Rock, but he looks like a bunny now.
What?
What's wrong with that?
I don't actually look like that.
Yeah,
It's Virgil.
Virgil. We have Doggies. He's a Knuckles bird. Yeah. We have Sevkins.
Sounds like
You know him, I guess, or you don't. That's your loss. And we have Fiona. She's brilliant and hilarious.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's start with the start. So I got a list there of things that I need to start with. First, get rid of this Discord window. Oh, hey, Kat. Okay. First off, first feature. We're just gonna rage through features here until it's Rock's turn to talk. First off, the audio video sync fix. Not a lot of people probably suffered from this, but not too long ago, Rock and I watched a video which was like 1.5 hours long, and the longer it went on, the further the audio desynced from the video. And we won't have that anymore after the upgrade, so you can watch really long videos together with the sound matching. So that's good. Thank you, Unity. Very cool. Oh, what else? Yeah, 2017.4 assets. I personally don't know, like specific assets that are compatible with that version. But are any of you looking forward to a certain like asset pack or feature of Unity that the upgrade will bring?
I'm actually looking forward to some Ultimate VFX upgrades. One of the newest versions takes advantage of Unity 2017 particle system features that we might discuss later, and those are now available. Other than that, it's going to be slightly more convenient to import some asset packs with models and stuff in them, because sometimes I have a version of Unity 2018 installed purely to like import newer asset packs, and then backport just extract the models back to earlier version of Unity.
Mm-hmm.
So it's nice that it won't be necessary anymore.
Yeah, that's nice. No more inconveniences. I
mean, there's a fair amount of asset packs that you could use in 5.6. They just didn't release them as them.
Yeah,
so there's
true,
no reason they're not compatible. It's just the asset store says, "Oh, this isn't for you," so you can't download it.
Yeah.
Okay, here Kat says, didn't they also say the in-game audio should work better now? Yeah, but that's not the 2017 update. That was the latest update. There's a less delay.
Yeah, that was when they.
Oh yeah. If you're referring to Avatar audio sources, then yes. So those had a bug, and it was fixed pretty quickly after release.
Yeah, no. I think he's talking about the fact that the audio quality, like the voice transmission, has less delay. Because
that could be.
No, they updated that this last update, as far as I know.
No, I heard they did something to it in the 2017 update. I haven't actually been in instances with lots of people in there because it's kind of deserted. Everyone's just updating their content.
Yeah.
I heard the voice quality is slightly better, and it's also slightly more performant. I don't know.
We'll
have to see.
Okay, Kat says, but the 2017 update's just beta right now. Yeah, it is, but it won't.
Yeah,
we hope it won't take as long as chairs.
Honestly, I would really hope that it waits until January, because I just don't have the time to update all of my content.
Yeah, well, I hope Lakuza gets off well.
Yeah.
He's already moved to 2017. So he's building everything in there
good.
now, yeah.
That's good. Oh,
that's
yeah,
good.
Right, he told me. I forget things. I've been so busy. But yeah, I'm just looking forward to it. it opens up a door to a whole lot more. That's cool. What's the
Mhm.
next thing we have? Oh, right. This is a point of discussion that I wanted to discuss. I discussed this back when I had the podcast with Polar Star, Kier, and Curio, but it's it's relevant now, so I'm gonna discuss it. It's the preservation of current content. Is it a good or a bad thing? Well, I know my opinions. What do you guys think? Like, uh, is it good that they are keeping all the dead air? Like the thousands of Knuckles worlds, all the deserted
They should
areas.
just Thanos the whole thing. I don't care.
Yeah, but Thanos
I mean,
saying the
maybe.
whole thing is deleting half of it. That doesn't work.
Yeah.
Just do it
Exactly.
2 times.
So there's nothing wrong with keeping that content if they had a better system for curating existing content. Right.
Yeah.
So they kind of added a few more categories, so like now instead of just community spotlight and new, there's avatar worlds and some, I guess, game worlds, stuff like that. But there's still not a very good way of finding content that's not like in the top 1%.
No, but
that's
like
true.
I'm talking about the thousands of gigabytes of worlds and avatars and accounts that are never going to be used again.
If they want to pay AWS to host it,
Yeah.
why do we care?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair
That's true.
enough. Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah, but like when this topic was brought up, because I was aware of this upgrade like 4 months prior to this, and I said, why keep it all? Like, most avatars need to be re-uploaded anyway. Same goes for most of the
Mhm.
worlds because nearly everyone
Mhm.
has a mirror.
I think actually worlds are more likely to be affected than avatars. Avatars are only affected with rotation animations. And maybe if they crunch compress the textures, but worlds, there's like a whole watch list of things that would require a re-upload. Like if you have baked lights, if you have a baked light in your world, it'll turn mixed and it'll cause some lag. Mirrors are kind of broken if you have occlusion culling. Crunch textures are just black, that sort of thing. So I'm not sure how
So
how
basically,
much
all the
value
things
there
that
is.
broke were all the things that were good ideas that you should do as a good content
Mhm.
creator.
Yeah.
And then they're like,
that's true.
all of your content will be uploaded and it'll be fine unless you do these specific things. I'm like, I do all of those.
Yeah,
Yeah, me too.
like that's what I thought was funny when I read like the blog post about the dangers of like upgrading in the worlds, and I was like, oh look, it's all the stuff that people do to optimize their worlds, and it's gonna fuck them over. Very
I mean,
good.
at least it's fixed with a
Optimizing
simple
our movie.
re-upload. It's
Yeah.
fixed usually almost always fixed with
That-
just a re-upload, but that's good. But the fact that not every
Well,
creator is around
you know,
anymore, especially the older ones.
it shouldn't be a lot of problem. Like it shouldn't be a big issue for us, but they have to go through everything again, every relevant world that is gonna be
Not necessarily.
re-uploaded
I don't know
into
if
the
they're.
2017
Oh, that's what you mean.
version.
Yes,
They,
that's
they're
true.
gonna have to review every single world that people want re-uploaded, and with
That's true.
how strict they're being right now, which I'm grateful for. By the way, don't get me wrong, it's gonna take a long time.
Most of the strictness comes from Avatar worlds, and those are actually checked with a bot, as far as I know. They just check all of the Avatar pedestals using a bot
Yeah,
and
yeah.
count dynamic bone, which is
Yeah,
good.
with a bot, it's
but I
but
heard
like how good is that bot?
I heard only 4 to
What?
5 people of the VRChat world review team have access to those tools.
That's true, which is why the ones that don't, apparently, instead of just like straight up approving the world right now without checking it, they just leave it there for the proper like devs to look at.
That makes sense. What's this?
Yeah,
Cat says, "Will they upload the pug? Would be funny if not." Well, you know what would be
Of course.
funny?
I mean, I'm
Baked
pretty sure
lighting.
Owlboy has already uploaded. I'm pretty sure Owlboy has already uploaded the 2017 version of his world.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah.
There's probably not much
Probably.
that to break in there at all. It's just a re-upload.
yeah. Yeah, you have the mirrors, but they should fix themselves. I shouldn't be too worried about the pug.
Hmm.
Yeah, we shouldn't be worried much about it.
No, let's not worry about it. So yeah,
I'm more worried about smaller worlds.
Like,
yeah.
all the only world I worry about is lag-free dolphin spirits.
No, trust me, that world will be fine. That world will be fine.
Just to re-upload
Hopefully.
fixes the mirror. Support your lag-free dolphin smears. Keep them well
But,
fed.
I think a lot of so there's some world creators that like to make a world and maintain it, and then there's a lot of us, and I'm included in this, that like make a world, I upload it, and even if it's got bugs, I don't ever want to see it again. I'm never gonna update it, and now I have to. And then I have new projects. I don't want to go back. So yeah.
Yeah, those typical map makers just
mostly-
do one map and done.
I'm concerned about Japan Shrine. It's a very popular map. It obviously has big lights, but it hasn't been updated in a very long time. I'm not sure
Yeah.
if the creator is even around, so I wonder how it'll fare.
Yeah, let's see. You know what? I'm gonna grab Japan Shrine. No, I can't. Yeah, it was last updated on the 22nd of the
that.
3rd month.
Hmm.
I'm thinking like, can't we just take updating the worlds and outsource it to India?
The guy who uploaded this has a Nikkei avatar.
Yes, I saw as well.
That's funny. That's funny. So yeah, I guess preserving it. But my issue back then was they weren't updating because they wanted to preserve it. And back then I was like, don't even bother with that. Just give us better performance.
I'm actually really impressed that they managed to like work something out with Unity though, and like make older shaders compatible, so we don't even need a re-upload
Yeah, well,
necessarily. That's gonna be pretty good.
They have a lot of like power, I guess. Like they have this deal with Vive, which brought them like $3 million, and they, I'm sure they have connections.
That's true.
Yeah.
I actually wonder how much of an effect on Unity's bottom line VRChat content creators have been. Because I know that that's a lot of asset store purchases just for VRChat.
the dynamic bone has been on like the front page for a really long time now, and I'm not convinced that it's not just all VRChat, because dynamic bone is not even like that impressive of an asset all on its own for like a full-time game developer, but for someone like an avatar creator, it's just perfect.
Honestly, I love dynamic bones.
Yeah, so if you ask
Sometimes
me,
it works.
I would say that VRChat is just one big Ponzi scheme. Like, like they might seem like they have power, but they really don't.
Well, I mean, if someone seemingly has power, they will automatically gain power because other people will think they have power.
Exactly. Like, no one's gonna get anything in return.
I'm not sure. I mean, I'm pretty sure almost everyone who bought a Vive tracker recently has done it like for VRChat. Like as far as consumer usage goes.
A lot of people use Vive trackers outside of VRChat. Like not even businesses. What would businesses do with them?
Well, you could just put them on your cat.
You can actually do that.
Why would you do that?
There is indeed a jacket for your cat that you can buy and strap on your cat, and a strap a Vive tracker to that jacket, and you have your cat in VR.
Yeah.
Of course, it can only really track the position, but you know.
Just attach something
Just
to
have
it. Fuck it.
Just have the cat T-posing.
Just cat bone. You know, cat bone on your avatar. You get a cat bone. Yeah. Vive, please
would actually
track the cat
Frank.
bone.
That would be pretty cool. Not gonna lie, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah, but you know how people like us are. Then VRChat will turn into VRCat. Like there will be cats everywhere. I know people who have like 7 cats. Just imagine they walk into a room and there's like 7 Vive trackers just scurrying around.
Have you seen my latest world?
Oh yeah. It's
I don't think I have.
It's
No, we didn't.
The full version of her What a Legend part.
Oh,
A lot of cats. A lot of cats.
It has
Very,
9
very
AI
cute.
cats that you can pick up.
I just had one
Oh.
cat, and I fed it. I fed it to the testing avatar. and then I pet
Yeah,
it.
the standalone one are AI, and you can pick them up and
Oh.
they purr. You can
Yo,
kiss them.
They need to
is
make
cool.
small VR headset that you can put on your cat.
Oculus Meow. put it on the cat.
Just put it on a cat.
Yeah,
Done.
yeah, I heard like stories. Yeah, when I'm in VR, I kick my cat, and I'm like, what?
What?
Okay,
there's
it's
people,
taken a little
there's
too
people who
far.
accidentally kick their cats when in VR. That is apparently
Yeah,
a
fair
common
enough.
problem.
Wait, that explains why the cat tracker exists.
So you can see your cat.
Here, Phantom says I've kicked my cat in VR before. Oh, it's apple juice. He says tell
I
Rock
almost
and
did it yesterday.
tell Rock and Sefkins that I said hi. Rock and Sefkins, apple juice said hi.
Hello, apple juice.
Yeah, don't worry.
Hi, Apple Juice.
I'm also
I
watching.
think I said that. What is VRChat? VRChat is all anime girls and your dog is invisible.
Yeah.
It's basically been my experience.
No anime.
Where's my dogs?
They're invisible. You just said so yourself.
I know. Every once in a while, it'll be like, oh, hi.
Oh yes.
Are your dogs big enough to put the VR headset on?
Oh, mine are, yeah.
Just
I don't think the nose. The nose wouldn't fit right. I need to get a pug.
it'll be very wacky. Oh my god! I just imagined the dog with eyes on the front.
Oh god. That's a Corey Stimmett right there.
That's a pug right there.
Why is that so funny?
That's okay.
I'm sorry.
We're just losing at the moment.
Oh my god. Anyway, runtime animation recording. That's a cool feature. That's cool.
That's gonna be
No,
nice.
you can do that. No, you can do that already. There's a standalone I don't know, plugin, asset, whatever, and then I've used that extensively for NPC animations. But having it built in is just nice. In fact, I need to do a tutorial on how to use that to do lip sync for
That's
NPC.
cool.
Looking forward to it.
That is cool. I was in a call with Rock like a few hours back, and I said, "Oh, so it's basically physics baking."
I mean,
Yes,
kind
it's
of.
exactly what it is. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
But it's not you. So you can use it to record physics, and you can use it to record animations. So,
Yeah,
for
because-
example, if you have like a bunch of NPCs that are all interacting, they all have their own animator controller. You can bake that into one animation and have one animator controller, and
you
that's
can, like,
all of them are one.
Record yourself in Unity, right?
So no,
That's
that I don't know. That's a different.
Technically,
That's
yes.
different.
Technically, yes,
Yeah.
you can do that. I'm sure you can do it with the runtime stuff
Because
as well.
I saw
By just applying it to you.
like I don't know exactly how or what, but I know that there is a program that allows you to like record yourself in VR and turn that into an animation file. I don't know which
That's true.
program this is, but I do know that it exists.
I've seen it on
If
GitHub. It's
anyone
pretty
knows,
interesting.
if anyone knows, I would really love to play around with that. I haven't had the time to look into it, but I've been needing that.
If anyone knows,
All right.
dump it in the Discord. Just
Only issue is that right now it generates generic animations, so you have to rig your model back to generic to actually use the animations,
Oh.
or find a way to
Oh, but
convert them.
for a world, that doesn't matter.
Yeah,
That's
like,
fine.
No,
yeah,
for a world,
I'm wondering about that. Like, is there any way to convert from generic to humanoid?
Probably
Or
yes.
vice versa?
probably
The easiest
yes.
way
I haven't-
the easiest way is to have it like on the model as you import it, and Unity will automatically convert it to a humanoid.
Okay. Yeah, because like I haven't found any way to like just convert like just an animation from a generic humanoid.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
I'm
it'll
sure
be
there's an
possible.
editor script that would do it.
But yeah,
That sounds complicated, though.
imagine, Rock, we could make our emotes where we pre-recorded our own dab.
I already asked G1 about that a few months back. Actually, like make a full body dab and then just like spread it around. You know.
Yeah. G1 dab.anim.
G1 dab. Dot anim. Oh, Lin my cake. Can't dab.
Good.
No.
Good sounding.
That sounds
Your arms
cool.
are too short.
Hey,
Yeah,
T-Rex.
little lazy dab.
T-Rex dab. T-Rex dab. Cool. Okay. So Rock. Now is your turn to talk about things. The
Oh,
first
boy.
thing you wanted to talk about is custom render textures.
Oh yeah, that's actually the thing I know the least about. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to properly actually use them myself. But from what I gather, custom rendered textures are a little bit similar to how cameras are used right now in the shader community, and perhaps also a little similar to the proposed Blitz script. Basically, it allows shaders to write to a rendered texture that can later be read out by the same shader or another anywhere.
Oh, so like
Basically,
the
it'll allow
body
shaders
pillow.
to excuse me.
Like that body pillow camera thing?
Oh no, that one will actually require cameras still. But what I was really talking about is, for example, GPU particles.
Oh, right, yeah.
Currently they use cameras to store information between frames because the shader can only run once; it can't remember anything by itself.
Yeah.
Using custom render textures, we should be able to actually make shaders remember something, store it for later, do some calculations, pass data to another shader, etc.
Oh, that sounds
I don't know if you've seen
interesting.
anyone has seen the Minecraft Voxel Edition world. I think Doggies has seen it. It
Yeah.
I've
uses
seen
a
it.
lot of cameras, Unfortunately, that's really only available in worlds. It's very laggy. Like you get the entire overhead of a camera
Yeah,
solely for like
I
reading out one
remembered. I
texture.
remembered when that old Minecraft thing was like as a concept in a dev meetup. But
Mhm.
that was all cameras. Like
Yeah.
like even Cyan Laser even explained it how he created giant spaces in the map to snap blocks.
No. That wasn't cameras though. That's different.
Oh.
So
Right.
that was using object pooling and floating point precision to do snapping.
Oh.
Oh,
What he's
yeah,
talking about. What he's talking about is there's a world now that is a Minecraft world, and then all the cubes are completely generated by shader code,
Oh.
Yeah.
and it's super impressive. Who did that? Was that Shadow Forest?
Shadow Forest. Yes, it's
Yeah.
a super impressive world, but basically custom render textures, they're good. They'll allow people to store things from shaders, and I mean, to some degree, it turns shaders into like full-on programs of their own. So I can't wait to see people develop stuff with that.
That sounds
Just one problem right now on avatars. It seems that when you change worlds, after you have a custom render texture loaded, that the custom render texture will freeze forever and won't work until you restart the game or reload or
Well,
re-upload the avatar.
You
That's something
know,
we should probably open a canny about.
You know, speaking of like cameras and shaders, I still think the standard safety settings for shaders
Oh,
and
yes.
stuff is way too heavy.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
Like
I agree.
when you don't adjust your shield settings, you need to be like trusted to see a shader or something.
Yeah, at
It's
default
really
shield
weird.
level, shaders are blocked until the person is trusted, and the shader fallback system is a little bit hard to use right now,
Yeah,
which means that more often than not, you'll be falling back to standard or seeing weird purple capsules around people.
yeah.
I am actually I have so this avatar in particular I rebuilt because of the safety settings. Because the original one used it like it was the first avatar I made. The topology is really bad. So under the safety settings it looks terrible. So I remade it, but then it still has some issues that I don't know how to fix. That if you look at it and with the safety settings, I would rather have you turn off an avatar entirely than just turn off its shaders. Because like a lot of the anime girls as well, they look terrible with their shaders off and standard.
Yes,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, absolutely.
Cubed in particular seems to fall back to something that looks like standard because of the toon ramping.
Yes.
No way
Yeah.
deals with it a little bit better in my experience. I've seen Jack with it; it looks fine.
Yeah, Jack.
But for
Can you
example,
imagine-
I have avatars with
Imagine
glasses,
having
and
to
then
worry about
the
shaders.
glasses.
This meme was made by Standard Gang.
Of
But
course,
yeah,
if you use standard,
glasses.
you're not really affected.
Glasses are tricky though. Remember back in the day when we had that glasses shader, but it didn't render correctly in VR, so you got
in
like
VR. Oh yes, so we hurt everyone's eyes.
I can only imagine having to
Right.
worry about that. This meme was made by Desktop Gang.
Stop. No.
But yeah, I actually have a better glasses shader now. I just use Alloy's glass shader. It looks really good. It's really nice. But as soon as anyone blocks my shaders, my glasses just turn opaque purple for them because I'm a trusted user. And if I were to appear as user, they would see green glasses. It's really weird. You use your trust color for whatever reason. I don't really know.
Yeah.
There's really the shader fallback system needs some work in order to be able to hide
Well,
stuff properly, or maybe choose fallback materials.
I think
yourself.
the safety system overall is way too invasive, I'd say. Like if
That's
you
true.
if you're new to the game, it is automatically enabled, and you have
Yeah.
no idea what's going on.
But what's actually interesting is I actually have an alternate account that I use to upload public avatars on. I tried playing on it for a while to go from visitor to new user.
Yeah, donkey
It was yes. I went to a public bug. I went into an instance of a public bug. Well, first of all, nobody was able to see just about anything on my avatar, which is fine, I guess. But then there were also like a quarter of the people who just straight up had my voice disabled because I'm a visitor. They just didn't want to associate with me at all.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Imagine starting VRChat and half of the people can't even hear you because they have you
Yeah.
they are safe.
Well,
Yeah.
the gates on joining this game closed long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I mean, it's maybe not that dramatic, but it's really, really hard to get into this game right now for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I can see that. Like I would if I were to join now, I'd be really confused probably.
Mhm.
And there's also
Mhm.
like these elitist sects that treat
Oh yes,
unironically treat people lower than trusted like garbage.
yeah. I think
Do
G1 made
not
a meme
at least
episode about
trust it.
that.
Don't even talk to me.
I think G1. Oh, I have a meme like that as well.
People.
Yeah.
But I think we might be getting a little off track here. Let's save that for later.
Yeah.
We
Yeah,
should be getting
whatever.
back to the 2017 update.
Yeah.
think.
Then you had
Let's-
the action option. Did you want to discuss that or not?
Well, yes, that might be interesting. You can disable game objects when the particle system stops playing. That's a new feature in particle systems, which means that you can, for example, it's not really a new feature per se for like world builders or avatar builders, but this means you can like have a particle system play, and then as soon as it stops playing, you got some audio on the object that also stops at the same time. I mean, you can still do all that with animations. It might not be too interesting. One thing that did catch my eye is in Unity 2017, you can now import meshes that are above 65k tries or vertices, which is going to be nice for our world builds as well.
Yeah, then we no longer need to split the meshes.
Yeah, no longer no need for manual mesh splitting. Might save a little bit on draw calls on very high poly meshes, although I don't see why you need that much polys
No.
on a single mesh.
No, I don't see that much either.
But we can at least import that demented Miku now. That's gonna be fun.
Oh god. Yes, we can.
Oh man, that one's gorgeous. But it was just too much trouble with the meshes and the polygons. But I kind of want it. Okay, next. Improved video players. Yeah, we touched on that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I like watching videos in VR. It's fun. Just like sit in a virtual living room with your friends and you show off your favorite YouTube videos. It's very good.
Or just watch
I've
foreign
literally
movies.
never done that.
Yeah,
Imagine
you never
watching
done
movies
that.
in VR.
It's
I mean,
really
people
fun.
do that,
I
actually.
don't understand the point. I really don't.
Or just watching videos with your friends. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same
it's
as like
pretty much
sitting
like a
on the
hack,
couch with your phone, like, oh, look at this video, but it's different. That's that.
TV display.
Preservation of current content. Old shaders are compatible, some
Yeah,
content
some content
isn't.
isn't. Yeah, we already touched on that, all
Yeah.
of that. There's actually one more thing. Rotation animations. If you have any animation with rotation on it on a world or an avatar, you have to re-upload it. Make sure to check out Lakuza's Luxuriant Teaser world in the 2017 beta whenever you get the time, because the boss animations are apparently really, really funny and really broken.
Oh yes. Oh, I'm gonna be on with them later today. I want to see it. So, what do you know? What is the underpinnings of that? What exactly did they change and why?
I actually haven't looked into this at all, but I can make an educated guess. They probably used Euler angles internally, like XYZ rotations from 0 to 360. It's pretty simple. They probably internally switched over to quaternions, which is like XYZW between 0 and 1. I don't understand the first thing about quaternions, but I know that under the
to be fair, you have to have a very high IQ to understand quaternions.
It's a different system for expressing rotation that isn't sensitive to gimbal lock.
Dimension W.
Oh no, please don't.
Dimension W.
Yeah,
It sounds familiar, but it just
it's an anime and a manga.
Yeah, it's a
Dimension W is pretty good.
But they're bad.
Okay, the meshes and the tris and vertexes. Yeah. Okay. Improved particle systems. The sprites can now be put in the particle systems.
Oh, so I haven't looked at this at all. What else? So are they just adding more features onto the particle system, or what's changed?
This is
a lot of new features
that is included in the upgrade. And we're gonna discuss
that. They're adding new modules or adding stuff onto existing modules in particle systems, and I don't think they're removing anything or changing anything that much. So yeah, it's just new things to play around with.
So your own particle systems would work, but now there's like, what are some of the new features that you can use?
Yeah, that's what we're gonna talk about.
No, but what are they? What are they specifically?
What are they? Yeah, it's a whole list. You can now use real sprite sheets in particle systems, not just texture sheets.
Nice.
You can apply noise to rotation and size of the particles. You can also send the noise to shaders, like particle systems have a noise feature.
My favorite part of particle systems is noise.
Yes. I can see why.
Yeah.
You can also... like little animals and it's the best part. Mm-hmm.
But isn't noise already, I think.
Yes, but now you can also apply it to the rotation and the size of the particles, and you can also send it to the shader itself, which can cause some really interesting effects. Yes.
That's pretty.
There's a new shape in the shape module, donut shaped. It's like a chorus.
Yes.
I mean, I guess that could be pretty cool. There's linear drag based on the particle size. So if you make an explosion and spawn some smoke puff from it, the larger puffs will have more air resistance and will travel not quite as far as the smaller ones.
Ooh.
That's pretty interesting. There's also an adjustable speed modifier in velocity over lifetime. Right now, that's something people used for particle simulation speed a lot. Like, they changed the simulation speed of the particle system a lot to change the particle speed itself without changing the velocity. There's now just a global speed modifier, speed multiplier you can put on the particle system that'll allow you to increase or decrease the speed.
Oh, that's nice. I know those little curves I find really annoying to deal with. Is there an easier way for that?
How is that different from the simulation speed?
It only affects new particles.
Oh.
Okay.
But sorry, what were you saying?
So you know how like all of the velocity over lifetime and stuff, they give you this little curve. Like it's like a keyframe curve. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know about you, but like I find that tiny little graph and trying to like mess with all the keyframes, like I wish there was an easier way to input that information.
I agree with that. I always struggle with those curves.
So you know, just like how you have keyframes in an animation, you have curves in an animation. I would really like there to be like numerical keyframes to those curves. Yeah. That you could either put in exact values and exact times, or you could edit the curve.
I actually checked it out. You can do that. You can right click a key now and click edit key, and you can change the time and the value, and that'll allow you to.
just set your animation to broken and the color.
Scuff.
There's no interpolation.
I wonder.
Just keyframes.
Legacy scuff animation. Just upload it with a data bank that is completely incompatible, so it won't work at all like it's supposed to.
But yeah, curves are a little bit easier to edit. I think there's a lot of tiny little changes in Unity Editor as well that just add up over time. I think the curve editor is definitely one of them. You can also like open up the curve editor in a new window. I don't know if you could do that before, and you can actually
If
like
you could,
expand
I
it.
don't know about it. Yeah, that would be nice.
Now you can just open it up in a new window and expand the window and actually get to clicking, I guess.
Yes, clicking. Yes. Yeah, no.
Okay, stop.
Oh, no.
We're not bringing this shit back.
Okay.
Do you know the way?
And we have linear drag based on the particle size.
Yeah, that I already covered that. That's being able to have adjustable drag based on the particle size.
And the speed
cool.
modifier, we also had that. Improved progressive light mapper. Back faces are now real faces.
That's a bit of a note that I put in there for myself, I guess. The progressive light mapper was in preview in 5.6. I think it still might be, but it's definitely improved a lot. One thing it still didn't handle very well was back faces. Like single-sided geometry that still had to be like visible from the other side. Wasn't lined up correctly. I think it is now.
Just copy a whole model and then invert the
normals. I mean, that's one way people fix that, of course, but it's a little bit questionable.
Well, I mean, so if you can bake both sides versus having double the polys and rendering, that would be preferable, right?
Yes.
Right now, it doesn't matter. It's exactly the same if you have two meshes or if you have a backsided shader, right? So performance-wise, but when you're baking, that would be better.
Technically, it's not twice the poly because like you're culling the backside.
As far as the GPU is concerned, I think it doesn't matter. But for the CPU, it's a lot lighter, especially when using skin meshes to have like a double-sided shader. Because otherwise you have to skin twice the amount of vertices. Like you have to move twice the amount of vertices on bones.
I hope they implement multi-core soon. That would fix a lot of problems.
Oh yes. I actually heard they already moved the voice processing off to a new thread. That's what I heard. I saw a screenshot of a dev saying that. I think.
But like
that should be interesting.
That would do like almost nothing. Like what they need to have on different threads are people's avatars and shit.
Dynamic Bone and IK are the two biggest killers right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
I think. Dynamic Bone less so.
I need a one dynamic bone core.
New CPUs will have integrated cores for dynamic bone.
Do you have the Intel
Bone
i20
cores.
with dynamic bone core?
So a lot of people have moved from trying to use the old Enlightened Light Mapper to Bakery,
Yeah,
right?
Bakery.
And so
yeah.
I'm curious as to like how do you compare the 2017 Progressive and Bakery? And now Bakery does actually render the physics of the lights differently than Unity does. And
Thank
so,
you,
but
Starfire.
one of the people like it because of it's basically speed in baking. I'm sort of wondering how Progressive fares next to Bakery, if anybody knows.
Yeah, do you know that? Like, we know Garrett.
In 2017, I'm pretty sure Bakery is a lot faster in 2017 right now. In 2018, that might actually change because Progressive is also available on the GPU in 2018. Bakery already runs on the GPU, I think, so Bakery is definitely a lot quicker right now. I don't know how good the results are. I'm assuming Bakery is slightly better. Bakery is like a professional asset, costs money. Progressive is contained within Unity. Of course, Unity is also a professional
Bakery really
tool.
brings some nice results to the table from all of the worlds
That's
that
true.
Garrett has made. Garrett is a friend of ours, and he uses Bakery for most of his light maps, and his worlds run real steady while using things like real-time lights, but he also has a lot of very well placed I forgot the name.
Mixed.
Light probes.
But
Light
bakery
probes.
doesn't really matter at runtime. It's bakery is all
Mhm.
about how it renders, and then it
Yeah,
uses
but-
the light maps the bakery makes the same way as it would from the normal light mapping.
That's
Yeah.
true, but there's actually one difference. Bakery still supports, I think Bakery still supports mixed lights, channels on mixed lights, and progressive, because it's in preview. I don't think it does right now.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
So I think Bakery is still the superior choice right now. Progressive is a preview. I suggest using it as such. If you really need a proper light mapper, try Bakery.
Just check it out, I'd say. If you don't have the
It's
funds or
expensive.
the access to bakery,
How
just
much?
stick to the
Hey,
progressive one.
is it on sale? I know that there's
Yes.
been a big Unity sale. Is it
Well,
on sale right now?
Bakery,
It's on sale right now,
if
yes.
you're interested in world development and you're interested in lighting, check out Bakery. I don't use it personally, but I know people who use it who are very, very happy with it. So check it out.
Of course, Enlighten still works. There's nothing wrong with Enlighten. It's just archaic and old and not very good.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's the integrated Unity light mapper that's like been the default for ages. It's pretty good still. It's just it has its issues.
Oh well.
And it takes
Bakery-
forever if you have a large world and a lot of light.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. Bakery is 50% off right now. It's only 25 euros.
Here. Lakusa's here. He says Bakery bakes my entire world in under an hour.
That is insane considering the size of Lakusa's world. That is absolutely insane.
That is crazy. That's cool. That's cool. Welcome to the stream as well. No, that's neat. Under an hour. That's good stuff. That's impressive. Okay. Anyway, here. Mock a Vive headset without having to put on a headset. VR friendly
Oh, yeah.
worlds are a little easier.
Unity
Explain.
has a new thing built in 2017 where you can actually, without owning a headset, you can still test like as if you were wearing a headset. Like you can actually have stereo output on your screen and emulate a headset basically. So you can actually check your shaders for any issues that might occur only in
How
VR
does-
without even having
Was
to.
it like overlays and does multiply or something? Like, how does it do?
I'm pretty sure it just like instead of like having like one viewport, it just has two viewports side by side, one for the left and one for the right eye. That's what I heard.
Hold on.
Okay,
so
but you
it's-
wouldn't be able
it's
to
gonna be
see how
pretty
it looks
hard.
in VR without doing the magic eye thing.
Oh, that might actually still be pretty difficult to
Just-
check for broken.
Just let it render on your screen.
Just-
Put like a cardboard box over your head and get real close and personal with your monitor.
just stick your head into the screen.
Anyway, Starfire Bakery is currently $25. They ask what it costs at the moment.
It's
It's
Yeah.
25
Yeah.
euros. 25 euros, which is different than 25 bucks.
25
So,
euros.
It's roughly around.
Well,
Was it around 40 bucks?
I
50
don't
bucks?
know about that because usually when it comes to software, euros are directly translated to dollars, which is
Let me
really
just
annoying.
convert it real quick. 25 euros to
Lol.
USD.
Oh, wait.
Oculus Dash, by the way, that is actually another thing that's really going to be nice in the next update. 25 euros equals $28.
Well,
It's pretty close.
$28.
Oh,
Lol.
interesting.
Lol, enjoy your European unions.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you just brought it up, the Oculus Dash port.
I don't know how many of you use Oculus. I use it. GV uses it. I don't know about Fiona. Oh yeah, you
I
use
do,
it,
yeah.
of course. Yeah.
With the ponytail.
The new overlay is fantastic. When you press your Oculus menu, you actually like have your screen projected in front of you if you choose to. There's a really cool feature I noticed in Oculus native games that means the overlay is actually rendered in the world, so it'll actually get occluded by objects nearby, and you can still like see your avatar's hands in game.
Oh yeah,
in front of the
because
menu,
right
and it's
now
like
you
actually
get,
part
like,
of the game world.
overlay, yeah.
Right now, it's basically an overlay that's always on top. So if you put your hands in front of it, you can't see your hands anymore.
It still surprises me.
The new
that-
Unity.
It still surprises me that something like the HTC Vive, which costs a boatload, doesn't have simple desktop support, not even a trace.
It has Steam VR desktop. It's pretty good. I mean, it's okay.
It's really janky, especially when you have a multi-screen setup.
I'm gonna open it right now, and it's oh my god. Okay, maybe you're right. Oh.
Thank you. And And
It's
Never
like
risk it.
it's like my screen is a quad, except the top two vertices are just like stretched sideways. So it's like
that's what I said.
it's like a parallelogram. My screen is like a parallelogram right now when I open the overlay. It's bad.
That's cool.
But anyway,
If you like
Um,
parallelograms, subscribe.
but basically,
Ah,
Unity now supports like Dash natively, which means you'll be able to like project your overlay into the game world, which is really cool. However, VRChat would have to support it first. It's a fairly simple tweak, as far as I'm concerned, as far as I know, in your build settings or in your player settings. I just
Yeah.
don't know how easy it'll be to like actually get working in game. Because even if it'll, yeah, that's something that'll probably require testing, but Unity allows for it.
Yeah, I would be happy if they'd look into that, because for a VR centric game like this, something simple like that, if it is as simple as we think, would be very nice.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice.
I mean, it'll
like
probably
nice
be a lot
things.
harder to actually get working in game. It's just Unity has to. Oh, whoops! I stood up. I guess this is in my hand now.
Oh,
Well, now you
That's
done.
something they still have to
No, you're
fix.
gone and did it.
See,
But that's it for the update, I think. That's
yeah, I think we covered just
Okay.
about every technical, even the technical aspects of the
yeah.
Oh.
Oh,
Of the new, Unity update.
Lavaga. Very cool. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's go on to the second subject of tonight. From Knuckles till now, because we all kind of joined during that time, so that's why I gave it that name.
Yeah.
VRChat. How has it changed? Well, honestly, not much.
Yeah, not much hasn't
Not
changed.
not much.
Apart from
Like the only thing that has changed are the actual game worlds. You now have worlds that are like What a Legend, and you have the archery world from Cyan Laser, and Luxurian World is coming up. Back when we joined, there was only Hangouts.
yeah.
Only
When we
Hangouts.
joined, there were only
Yeah.
hangouts.
Yeah.
Well, the main thing that has changed was back then there was 5,000 people in the pub. Now there are max 500.
Oh, during the Knuckles boom, you mean? Yes, that might be true.
Yeah.
If they're all,
A lot of well, the overall player base went down by like 2,000 to 3,000. And a lot of people hang out in private instances, and private
Yeah,
instances
that's true.
aren't currently displayed in the total count of
that's true. If I open my world
yeah.
stats, or like currently there's 2 people in public and 48 people in private instances. According to this.
Yeah.
So a lot of people just stick to privates right now.
Well, also, I would say that now you can go to a public pug instance, and the likelihood that you're going to see offensive particles or get crashed is a lot lower. And still, everyone's in private instances because that was such a big problem.
But here's an interesting one. You have the box, and you have 115 people in public boxes and 1,281 in private.
That doesn't surprise me. That is a lot, though. Jeez.
Yeah,
But
that
that's
is a lot of
because
people.
that's
Oh,
But that-
I
that's
had no
because, like,
idea, but there's
people-
also 1,072 people in private instances of presentation room.
Oh,
I had
Yeah,
no
anyway,
idea.
go on, doggies. Go on, doggies.
Yeah, so like it seems to me that like in this game, literally no one cares about the world they're in. They only want a mirror they can stare at each other.
Oh, that is surprisingly true.
It's too true. It's too
It is,
fucking
and
true.
I mean, like, as a world creator, like, you make something, and then I like to go on Twitch and see who's in it and see how they comment on it, and then you find that they're in your world and ignoring all of the, like, interactions and animations you put in, and they're just
But
looking at a mirror.
that's why I like
That's,
the
like,
world
disappointing.
showcases that I do. I like having a developer there so you don't miss out on anything.
Mm-hmm.
The
Same,
one thing that I think is a big difference So I started like in January making avatars and started making worlds in like February.
Same.
And everybody at the time on the official Discord, there was a few people who knew how to do stuff, and we were all just kind of learning from scratch. There was no tutorials. I think like FruitPex had like one tutorial, and Tupper had one tutorial, and that was the only things out there for how to do the trigger stuff. And since then, there's just so much knowledge that's been created and so much that has been shared and so much of the community that has built up. So like we can do really complex things now
Yeah.
that we always could have done. We just didn't know how.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
absolutely.
world quality has gone up like really a ton. I was in Octoplex's world yesterday or the day before yesterday. I was testing his new Instagame world. It's amazing. It's just like a proper Instagame shooter, favors the shooter in VRChat. It's amazing.
The thing about that is like VRChat is like a simulation of a civilization rising and falling, and I think that we find new shit. It's just a result of that. Like we it's technology, man.
Technology or
Yes, it
simulation
is technology.
within a
It is
simulation.
technology. No, but
Yeah.
but like I said, like I don't mind good hangout. You know, I love the lasagna lounge. It's a very good world for stuff like this. But I I get a lot more excited when Fiona or Cyan or Lakuza or Legends comes up with something new and they're like, "Hey GV, check out this unique game concept that I put to work." And I'm like, "Yes, this is what I like. This is what I want to see." And I can't do it for the life of me because I'm way too busy and I give up way too easily.
Yeah,
but
true.
but honestly, like the What a Legends world, that's perfect. There's a lot of things there, just small bites of what could be achieved. Like I loved your part.
Needs to go.
I loved the jumping puzzle, but the thing that blew me away was Phase Dragon's mirror puzzle with the laser. That was
Oh, yes.
amazing. And that's the
Hmm.
kind of
Yes.
stuff I'm like, that's perfect.
We've been like Phase, kill the big one. I want more. Yeah, no, I don't think he has much public right now, but he's building some really, really incredible stuff. So I can't wait to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, yeah, and Legends should finish something.
True.
I've seen like a couple of his worlds.
He has published. He has published now.
Really,
Ah.
I gotta check that out. I gotta
He
check
published
that.
his Halloween Hangout, and he, I think, briefly published his Asylum World. I'm not sure if he took that down though.
Possibly.
Man, he got like so busy because I personally was really looking forward to his Halloween world.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, like the one with the house that I
yeah, we did this-
showcased. But
Oh, the horror one.
that
Yep.
never came to fruition.
Legends, publish it.
Yeah, finish it.
Legends.
Finish it. I don't see
You're gonna
Legends
finish your full
anywhere.
mission. Just fuck it.
He's not in my favorites either. Darn it. Oh well. Publish
Oh,
it.
whoops.
Finish things. I know you're busy and I know you want to do everything you can, but world needs your puzzles.
Although I had to transfer shit to 2017.
Yeah. So
only a couple of
Fiona,
weeks.
are you work? Can you tell me about like your experience in VRChat, like starting January? How did you experience VRChat? How did you get into it?
Well, so I remember it was like, I don't, somewhere around between Christmas and New Year's Eve. I was like in my parents' house and like super bored and just watching. I don't even know like how I found the YouTube streams of it, but it just was so absurd and hilarious. And like everyone had all of these different avatars, and I'm like, that is awesome. I want to do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I have no idea like why it like caught my interest. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna figure this out. So then when I went back home, got in desktop mode, And I immediately had all these ideas for stuff I wanted to build. Had no idea how to do it, so just like sat down with a bunch of tutorials and just like pumped my brain full of like how to do Blender. Started making avatars, and then was like, okay, well, I want to share these with people. How do I put them in a world? And so then that was a whole nother learning curve because I have no experience whatsoever in coding or game design, or I do 3D modeling, but not this kind of 3D modeling. So I do mechanical 3D modeling.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all just drink from the fire hose of information for a while.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I didn't have VR until March, and I didn't like even play the game that much because I spent all my time learning how to do stuff.
Yeah,
So I didn't really like have an online community for like a few months.
Well, funny thing is, I got like when I got into this game, I was like, VR is a overrated gimmick. That's how I was looking at like an Oculus or a Vive. I was like, but then the start of April came around, like the end of March, and I was like, I got a bonus from my boss back then. I got a Oculus headset, and I wasn't sold on virtual reality until I had it myself. That's
You betrayed the cause.
No, but the thing is, like they say, oh, it was certainly. Yeah, like you'll never want to go back. And as a desktop user, I'm like, what are you talking about? Like the whole game is right here. Now playing it on desktop, it's like you're handicapped.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Body language. Well, now I see people with full body, and I'm just like, their body language is so much better. And like because it is a social game, body language has a lot to do with it, as well as being able to manipulate 3D space.
Like now that I have VR, like the idea of full body is fun, but I see a lot of people struggle with like the downsides of it, like the limited tracker battery, the charging issues, the price point. So
the price is the worst.
like, I would like that, but I'm completely fine with what I have now because I want for full body, I want it to be better. I want it to be at least more efficient for my wallet and for
personally, I would wait for the next generation of hardware before I would upgrade. But
yeah, same, absolutely.
At the same time, I'll just be envious of all of the like expressive people in full body.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't care at this point.
If I had full body, I'd probably just sit like this all day, honestly. Like in the middle of the air, just like sitting.
Yeah. Yeah, it really depends on like what you do in VRChat, if full body is worth it or not. Because like, yeah, I can dance, I can move around, but I don't feel the need to like. I don't need it now. I wouldn't be opposed to having it. Like if I were to get it, I'd be like, yeah, I'd set it up, and I'd play in full body. But right now, I don't. Meh. Yeah, here, fandom. I expressively lay down and sleep.
Lay down and sleep.
It's true.
I mean, I think it depends on how you play VR. So, like, whenever we go world hopping or something, I am standing until I am too tired to stand anymore.
Yeah,
like right now, I'm sitting because we are sitting in real life, right?
Yeah.
But normally, like I like to do more active games with interactions, and so I'm literally standing up. So if I need to reach something, I literally reach down to reach it.
I don't want to play Robo Recall sitting down. Just doesn't feel right.
I don't know.
I played Payday today, standing up. I finally got it to work for left-handed people, something that I really like in VRChat. It just works for left-handed people.
It does. Yeah, well...
But yeah.
That's an issue that I do want to address. Like I do have a VR set now, and I play a lot of VRChat, but there's not much else that's really worth it. That's the main issue with VR. There's not much. If you're not into the social aspect of VR like this, you just have like a $400-$500 piece of equipment lying around for playing a game once in a blue moon.
Like with this game, like most people I met, did not join the game for the VR. They just joined it for the memes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then
same.
they got VR.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just join out of curiosity.
You know, I will say that this game. So what I think appealed to me about this game is what appealed to me about Vine, and they killed Vine, so I went into VRChat.
That's a weird transition.
VRChat is, you know, like
Well,
3D Vine for me.
what I like about VRChat is was and now kind of still is, but there are some more limitations. Total creative anarchy. You can be whatever you want. You can do whatever
Yes.
you want as long as you do it because you can. You can do almost anything as long as you're committed. And that's what I like about VRChat. But
Well,
that's
that's
also why I
motivational.
keep complaining about Hangout maps, because there is a million other things you could do. And then people I know, my friends, they make really nice Hangout maps with their own art styles and their own buildings and their own structures. And then they're upset that nobody visits them. And I'm like, it doesn't really have anything special that would draw people towards it. Like
Because for now, a lot of people just stay at the puck.
yeah,
Yeah, that's because like everyone just want to stand in the mirror, just
but what I'd like, like if there were like shooter worlds, you'd go like into a public instance and then chit chat with people who shoot people. That would be so
Yeah.
much different of an experience than standing around in front of a mirror. And standing around in front of a mirror isn't bad. You know, it
That-
can be fun if you're chilling with your friends. But I like activities. Who do we have here? We have Melon. Sorry if I mispronounced that. And we have Pandemon. Still waiting for
Oh,
the
yeah,
day
yeah.
not literally everyone will use female models. Well, we discussed this
Well.
earlier, but a lot of the male models are very bland. I like
Yeah,
colorful.
they just don't look
I like expressive outfits. It's the same issue I have with male clothing in real life.
yeah.
I hope you like
I would-
t-shirts, sweaters, and pants because that's the only thing you'll wear for the rest of your life.
I think
I would
that
say
is still
fake
an
coats.
excuse, though, because you could be expressive like this.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
is
like I would
expressive.
say that like for a male avatar, for it to be like expressive, it either has to be not human or wearing some big armor or something.
Melon
Quote,
says,
quote, unquote,
"Nah,
whatever.
I like being surrounded by anime girls." Oh,
Here we go.
yeah, there
That's
we
your
go.
male avatar for you.
That's non-anime girls.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
Yeah.
pretty good. Not gonna lie. But yeah,
That's-
Fiona,
that's how you do
you
male avatars.
like the it's
This
gender
is actually
bent
a favorite one.
Marceline. I like I
Yeah.
like the legs that aren't rigged. Oh,
It's like the male
Yeah.
avatars.
Oh, they
They're
are
rigged.
rigged.
They're just not real. They're just not
Fake
like
Yeah,
the real
because
legs are not.
he flies, right? So
it's
Mhm.
cool though. That is very
That's pretty
good.
That's dope.
this one
Yeah,
is
that's
pretty
cool.
popular. I get a lot of people who ask for this one because they want a male teenagey avatar, and so they ask for Marshall Lee. So I actually think he's public. If you want to download him, just let me know.
That's cool. Car Kid is here, and he brings up a very interesting thing. He says, "IMO. The reason for that is people chose models mostly what they find attractive, not to represent themselves. But if you find something that
That's
you
only part of it.
personally enjoy,
That's part of it.
you partially do represent yourself because you are walking around as
Well-
something that you appreciate."
I appreciate that
And
a
yet,
lot.
I have zero I have zero desire
and-
to be a hot dude.
Yeah, but I don't have a
Same thing.
desire
Being-
to be this.
Being
but
attractive is overrated.
Oh my god.
Oh,
Okay, let's just cover that whole.
but I do no, but
I'm
like
not doing a
that,
great job, but that'll do.
that is another like edge of the blade is what I'll call it, Car Kid. People use female models because they're cute, yeah, but there's a lot to say about that. Like there's female models, and there's being an exhibitionist.
That's true.
I will note
Yeah.
that I don't jiggle and I have pants. Well, skirt anyway.
That is not true about your witch, though.
Yeah, true.
My witch?
You came in.
Yeah.
You came in this
Oh,
survey.
yes.
You started jiggling your
Oh
titties.
yes.
Yep.
Feel
That
bad.
was just that is a special avatar just for you.
Thank you.
Speaking about like people wearing avatars that are like just cute girls, like what ends up happening is that you end up with like two dudes both dressed as girls ERPing with each other.
Good for them. Good for them.
Well, good for
More
them.
power to them. Just don't do it in public worlds. Thank you.
No ERP.
Yeah.
But
You-
but
Oh,
you
that
know,
shit.
you
That's actually
know,
one thing we discussed earlier, though.
male characters. That's cool. But what about this? Huh? What?
Oh, no.
What about stuff
Hold on.
like
I think
this?
I already know what I already know what this is. I
It's
think
taking me a
it's
while.
taking a while to load.
You know,
Yeah,
It's a
There's-
bloody cat.
Oh,
There's-
I did not know
Emoji?
this at all.
there is always
Regret.
like, sure, I look like a big titty anime girl most of the time, but I also make creative things. Now, if you appreciate this kind of creativity, that's not on me to say, but you know, I'm not all anime girls. I can be whatever I want,
Hold on,
and
what?
that's why VR chat's nice. I can be an
That's
anime
true.
girl, but I can also be a bloody emoji Garfield with bloodborne weapons.
Okay, it sounds contradictory.
There's actually one more thing though that GV and I discussed a while back.
Yeah, hit
One
me
more
up.
thing that's like pretty popular is just like people who use models from like anime or games or whatever what they like,
Yeah.
but there are not a lot of interesting male characters in it within
No,
anime,
That
like
too.
specifically.
True that.
Okay, what do we have here?
That's,
Oh, we have
that's
placeholder
most the
here.
thing with anime though.
Yeah,
Hmm?
True.
placeholder says
Oh
it.
no, is it not?
I
Oh, sorry.
pla-
I thought you took.
placeholder says, I think that there just aren't many good male models that can be head patted, or that wouldn't feel creepy to have head patting someone else. No, but there aren't a lot of cool male models.
I've been
Like,
head patted as this.
there's just like Danganronpa is one hell of an exception because their male characters actually have very interesting and creative designs, but most male anime protagonists or more
It's like-
like more like prominent characters in series, they don't usually have cool designs unless you look at things like like Castlevania or something, but
I would-
yeah,
I would
It's not
admit
even an
they're
anime.
pretty generic per se.
Castlevania has an anime.
yeah, but it doesn't have 3D models, highly detailed
Mhm.
3D models. No, but basically, it's a lot easier to find a good model of your favorite girl than it is of your favorite man.
Yeah,
but
true. It's
I
actually.
think it might be because like most anime is made by and for horny dudes.
That is true though.
Mm,
I mean,
Yeah.
the dudes in
I
those
don't think
animes are often
I don't think I agree.
I don't think
I know bigger
agree.
weebs that are women than are men for sure.
There are a lot of
I
women.
That's
agree
true,
with
but
that.
actually, what I think it's more there's a lot of animes that are just like the male characters, just like a blank slate for people
Yeah, and
to sort of
Pun,
fill in the blanks
Pun
with. I don't know.
says he brings up JoJo, but I like
yeah.
JoJo.
Huge
I
trove
like-
of male models right there.
I love JoJo, but I don't. The issue with the models is they are very outdated. The ones that are there,
Yeah.
and they do not have functional eye tracking or visemes, or even most of them don't even have raked hands, and it's just a lot of
Effort to
nonsense
fix all that up and
to make it
give
work.
them eye tracking.
Yeah.
Reason because it's ripped from.
Here,
a
Andre
fighting
says,
game.
I like the male models from the Persona series. Well, I have seen them way too many times. I do agree that their
Yes.
designs are very nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, don't worry. I know a friend who just has a collection of those.
Yeah, I know a few. I think we know the same people, Sefkin.
Yeah, we
Boss
sort
mob.
of know this. Yes.
Yeah, but pun. Not everyone likes to make their own JoJo OC. People just like their favorite. They import their favorite character and they're done with it. If they're sexy or if they're a girl or a man, it doesn't really care as long as you like who you are. I think that's the most important part of
Yeah.
VR chat. You
Well, there
shouldn't.
used to be
Yes.
MMD JoJo models, but they got deleted by the creator because
Oof.
credits and shit.
Oh no.
Oof.
That sounds intense. Oh here,
Yeah, even some Danganronpa models got deleted.
Rouse Dower. I personally don't feel comfortable representing myself as a female model, but I do like that others are. A generation growing up gender swapping in VR, I think, will make for a healthier mindset. Oh, that's a good point.
That's a really that's a really positive spin on it. I like that.
Yeah, that's a great one. That's a really solid one. That's cool. Yeah. I do agree, but like even though I most of my characters are female, including this one, I have no tendencies to become a woman in real life. That's another thing.
So I actually have a
Same
question. When
situation.
you wear a female avatar, do
Yeah.
you think it changes your body language in game?
To a certain point, I guess.
Not in my case.
I I feel more comfortable acting like physically acting out like being cute when wearing a female model than it is when a male model. But I kind of adapt to the character. I suffer slightly from the Proteus effect, not severely, but the character I wear does dictate a lot of my body language. It does. It does make a difference.
What I really notice is every time you're wearing a meme model, you have a very specific body language that you do while you're wearing meme models, like the Garfield just now. It's true.
Because a meme
models,
I'm,
yeah.
I'm gonna call it
I never
meme
noticed.
stance. Meme
Yeah.
Meme
stance.
No, I
stance.
have avatars that, like, LSP, for example, that I pretty much wear just to play the character,
Yeah.
right? And the Great Fairy that I had earlier,
Yeah.
like, that's a new one, and pretty much the whole point of that one is to go mess with people.
Yeah. Well,
And,
a good.
and so, yeah, like, that's going to have different body language than, like, people's default avatars, which, so I've got this one in Zelda, which pretty much is just how I would be me.
Yeah. But that's good. Like,
Yeah.
there's always a bit of yourself mixed in, but I do think that some different models can evoke different body language or behavior, even if slightly. But that's just
Yeah,
part
but-
of the immersion, I guess.
Like I'm also wondering, like, does it work the other way? Like, do people tend to gravitate towards models that imply their own body language?
Yes.
Oh,
I do.
I react very differently to people. So if you have a male voice and a male body, I tend to gravitate to those people a lot more than I do the male voice and a female body. I don't know. I can't tell you why, but
Yeah, but like I'm just thinking. So like I'm in desktop, but like so like I'm pretty limited with body language. But like when I'm in this avatar, I sometimes just go around the.
But Fiona,
I just look around. That's all.
Fiona, this might be very interesting to you though. Since I've like first person experienced like female body, I've also experienced discomfort as a woman.
oh really?
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, people.
Oh, you mean like being
pe-
groped?
People.
I was gonna say you look like your back is probably sore a lot.
No. Oh, that's
Epic.
Indirect.
That's what the tail is for.
Indirect
yeah,
innuendo.
like when people come up to me and they say nice tits and they touch my tits, I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It's weird. It's hard to explain, but like I can understand it because it makes me very uncomfortable too. Even though I don't have like
Oh yeah.
like fucking basketballs on my chest in real life.
The most uncomfortable moments I've had in VR was when I was wearing a black avatar and people were horribly racist.
Oh dear.
my God.
Right, and like the thing is, like it should, like that person doesn't reflect anything personally on me.
that
However, like it's really upsetting.
Yeah,
So,
no, but
like,
I
yeah, no, it's definitely a
also
thing.
like I remember in the early days of my VR chat like experience, I like a lot of female characters because of their design. But then I'd have a normal conversation with someone in the pug like way back, and someone would just zoop by and be like, "Oh, you're a trap, you're gross." Burp."
Oh, right.
Hey, this was
You know,
a thing
jerk's gonna jerk,
before.
right? What are you gonna do?
Yeah. Jeez.
Yeah, I get
Damn,
that.
most people are assholes.
Yeah, yeah. I do understand that virtual reality brings with it a certain form of anonymity, but it doesn't give you the right to be like a pervert or a dick to everyone. You know.
No, nothing gives you the right to do it. At the same time, in VR, it's kind of like 3D YouTube comments.
Yeah,
It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna
Deadasses.
happen, and you have to be prepared for it, and just like block them or whatever.
Yeah, but
You can always just block anyone. Like, whoop.
yeah. Your placeholder says the trap thing is basically non-existent now. Yeah, but that's also something I noticed. Like all the, I'm just gonna be rude here. All the normies have been filtered out, and everyone you meet right now is kind of on the same level of being a nerd, which is nice because the extreme
nerds here.
popularity, the overbearing wall of like compilation videos brought in a lot of I'd say unwanted visitors.
Normie here, normie there.
Yeah, pretty much.
3D YouTube comments is very good though.
Yeah, that's a good
That's actually a
highlight.
good
Yeah,
point.
that-
I haven't seen any like quote unquote traps recently. Like people actually
Like-
pretending.
No,
I
no,
His
met
voice
but
changes a
my
lot
friend
less,
too.
or I guess I just don't hang out in the public instances as
No,
much.
me-
So.
me neither.
think
Yeah, I've met one of two.
I mean, there's there definitely still are traps, but the traps that are now are better at being traps than the traps that were before. You do not notice that they are traps.
Douglas is in charge of a Taiwanese, a Thailand girly boy cafe.
That's right. You guys don't know this, but I'm actually a 13-year-old boy.
Oh,
In before Doki's is actually a 30-year-old woman.
I would actually believe that.
Doggies is actually a woman
people
with a
would believe
family.
This.
So, Doggies, how is your life as a 30-year-old woman with kids?
Oh, fuck.
That's not even 30. That's like we're in the 50s region.
50s? Yeah, Savkins is just an old man.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I can't
boy.
imagine my dad playing this game in VR.
Oh man, that'd be
You know,
hilarious.
one of my good friends, when I was first doing world building, ASVR, he was in his 50s.
I
Oh,
know,
And he
I
had been
know
doing-
ASVR.
Yeah, he disappeared
cool.
though. I don't know where he's been, but
Nobody
like,
knows
you know,
where he
he's been
is.
doing this stuff forever.
He once told me, all right, GV, I'm gonna buy a new car and I'll see you tomorrow because I'll be getting back to VRChat. Plays Battlefield 1, disappears.
Mysterious disappearance.
And I miss him. He was one lad.
He was awesome.
with his virtual reality mech warrior company and his world projects. We miss you, man.
guess I
If
missed
you're
that.
listening, we miss you.
Just gotta switch out of the meme model real quick.
Yeah. When are we gonna see 60-year-old grandma playing VR chat like that lady who plays Skyrim? I hope never. Not now.
Our future
Not
is
now.
like this.
I don't want people who are out of touch to get in here. They'll have a very bad time.
Literal boomers.
Boomers.
But the thing is, like, you know, what is out of touch, right? So like if you're in here and you're like participating in the community and the memes and everything, like how can
Well,
you tell?
people of that age category often aren't very open minded and will probably be incredibly judgmental or weirded out.
Mhm.
Well,
I think people of any category that are judgmental
yeah, true.
and closed-minded are not going to be in VRChat.
That's
Because they're like
true.
two different
That's
sets
true.
of people.
It's a very open-minded game.
But the boomer, I don't think this is a welcome environment for boomers.
Yeah, nobody.
Unless you're
nobody
like a
bad.
mega nerd.
Yeah, I guess like if boomers actually saw this, they would probably try to fucking make it illegal or something.
No. Boomer, elderly react to VRChat podcast. We'll be on. What's his name?
That reminds you.
That would-
Fine Bros.
That reminds me. The Fine Bros deadass made Anders react to VRChat. Haven't you seen it?
I don't think I want to.
No.
I think I'm done here.
It exists.
Good night, everybody.
It totally exists.
Okay, no.
Okay, here,
Bad idea.
Starfire. What do you guys think of the future for VRChat? Well, I was very cynical at one point, but with the
Same.
incredible speed that this new upgrade is supposedly about to come, I am a lot more positive. Especially because this will be the first time us avatar creators will get new functions.
Yes, exactly.
And a new
That's
engine, and a better engine.
Yeah, so I am quite positive. I'm
Mhm.
still not entirely 100% on the development team and the way they treated us and blah de blah. But
Yeah.
do whatever you want, man.
I mean, for you,
just
most-
don't ruin it for me.
I mean, I think the right attitude to have is like, enjoy this in the moment because
Mhm.
tech things come and go forever, and then like things will sort of settle out.
Yeah.
And so we don't know, is VRChat going to exist in a year, in 10 years? We don't know. So like,
But
cares?
I'm
do what you want to do now, right?
Right
You
now-
can't bank on any of this kind of stuff.
right now I'm really enjoying it, and I hope it sticks around because all the alternatives at the moment are either incredibly insidious or piss poor.
Yes.
Or complicated, or God fuck knows what happened.
This is just the most accessible and most flexible variant of what we have right now, and I am grateful
Mhm.
for what we have at the moment. But bring back
Mhm.
chairs. I want to ride a boat.
Yeah, so
bring
I mean,
back custom
honestly, I
animators.
see so much potential in this medium. Maybe not VRChat specifically, but VR as a social medium,
Well,
right?
you know, Fiona, there's both potential and danger because I know people who exist within VRChat. Like it's their life. They don't eat for 3 days
Yeah,
and they
it's
pass out on the floor. Kinda.
Dude, you can say the same thing about MUDs 20 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Like
Sure,
it's,
or any-
it's just the next generation of the thing, right? So
Like,
I don't see an issue with that.
Fair enough.
I don't really see an issue with that because, like, I already do that, except I'm not in VR. So literally nothing will change if I put on a VR headset.
Yeah, doggies.
I have like 1,000% more social interaction than I did before VRChat.
No, absolutely.
You know-
Like I
Absolutely.
don't,
That's true.
I
but
don't
that's true.
mind
That's true, but
hanging
that's
out
because I
with
didn't
people.
have friends.
I like hanging out with people, but going to a person physically kind of sucks.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm also like this silent type. I don't know.
Reality is the worst game.
Real life is the worst
The
game.
graphics are
It
pretty
really
okay
is.
though.
The graphics are pretty
Yeah,
good,
but everything else is shit.
But,
but you know,
but yeah,
you
you
know,
can't delete barge your own cars.
you know how you make reality more fun. You import fake things into the real world. I love cosplay props and replicas and figurines.
Oh my god! So this is another thing that I found about VRChat. So like, I used to do costumes. That was like another big hobby that I used to have.
Hmm.
And so the amount of cost and money it would take to make this like accurate historical costume, and now I'm just like Blender, next day, wear it. It's the and you don't have to wear a real life corset. You don't have to like spend 3 hours
That-
getting ready. You
That's
just
what I don't like about cosplay
Take it from
is
the menu.
actually wearing a really hot costume.
no, it's the worst. It's the worst.
Like it looks
Yeah.
good on a mannequin. It looks great. and then you put it on and you're like, I feel you. I
You
feel you very
sweat
well.
and
Okay,
it's-
yeah, placeholder
Doesn't fit you
placeholder
at all.
says it quite well. This is exactly what I mean. You can be in the comfort of your own home in the same room with people across the planet, and the room can be anything you can imagine, and it's still the same people.
Hold on.
That's something I experienced. I met up with someone from VRChat that lived close by. Same people. They just don't look like a bird. They're just the same people. But that's
Hold
No,
on.
honestly, VR is super wholesome, right? So all these people that like go and they dance in the clubs and everything, you
Yeah.
can get drunk in VR, and you're not gonna drive, you're not gonna go home with somebody
you
questionable,
can
you're not
just
gonna get
take off your
roofied.
glasses
Like,
and go to bed.
you're just home. Yes.
Or
you're
you
just
can
home.
you can
It's so
pass out
wholesome.
and vomit
Immediately
on your
home.
own floor.
Yeah.
You can just vomit on your
if
own
somebody
floor.
is harassing, you don't need to go. It's true, Bob, on your floor. You don't need to go
Hold
find the
on.
bouncer. You just block them. It's great.
Yeah. And
Hold on.
and
The comments are triggering me right now, so
What?
what is
Oh,
it?
that's
Loki?
switching to Unreal would literally fix nothing.
no, if you were to take this game into Unreal, a lot of like the flexibility and accessibility will be
Gone.
cut. Yeah, so don't
Gone, thrown out of the
Yeah.
window, and
and Unreal
damn.
Unreal, even though a lot of games are nowadays made in Unreal, it is still to the core an engine for shooting games. Hey,
Engine
Rock,
for
I have a
shooting
great
games.
idea. Listen, we're gonna make a
Yes?
cooperative shooter in a racing engine.
Oh, that sounds like a great idea. Let's call it
Payday 2.
Although,
I have an idea. Let's make a flight simulator in RPG Maker.
the way that
Actually,
was the
speaking
one
of-
joke, make an FPS in a racing engine. That's
No-
the
no
that's the thing that
Phantom.
See, the one
EA
thing
did
though that I would like to see in VR is more creation that is thinking outside of the box, right? So everyone is doing game rips and recreating real world environments at real world
Yeah,
scale.
but we know people who do that, and they're amazing. And I agree with you. But like one of our friends, Polar Star, everything he does is made by him. And same for Yoshimo Moritz. It's amazing.
The more the like experiences you can have in VR that you couldn't have in real life, right? I want to see more of that stuff.
But
Like that is really what I want to see.
you cannot deny that walking around in your favorite TV show or game isn't
Yes,
fantastic.
that. Oh no, totally.
But I actually had an idea for a world that I might actually try and realize once Udon comes out. I've always wanted to make like something like a Wild West theme, you know?
I like Wild West.
That's something I haven't seen in a while, like proper Wild West worlds. Actually, I was actually in one yesterday, but it's not very popular.
Well, that saloon is fantastic. The one we used for the first few episodes of the podcast. That one is some good. But Wild West, the things that are most underrepresented in media right now are Wild West and pirates. And sure, you can go like
Really?
Red
Yeah,
Dead
true.
Redemption 2.
Okay, yeah,
but there's
really.
yeah.
Name one other pirate franchise other than Pirate of the Caribbean.
Assassin's Creed
like
4.
Oh no, like actually like media franchise. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I
Yeah.
thought you meant,
media franchise.
but it's
Well,
true because like okay, Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Treasure
There
Planet.
is a game.
Oh yeah, Legends.
That-
Legends creates everything
Yeah.
himself aside from his avatar.
Yeah.
Yeah, that he
Nice.
even makes his own music.
Oof.
Yeah, I wanted to say something. What did I wanted to say? We were talking. Yeah, ninjas. Well, ninjas are more prominent. Oh, you know, I wanted to
Shadow
say
Warrior.
with the death of Irrational Games, we also lost Art Deco. Just
Yeah.
gone from
Oh, yeah.
from the main stage, and you can say, well, what about Dishonored? But Dishonored is more dystopian steampunk ish, but it's not
Yeah.
entirely the
I might-
same.
I'm actually currently playing it.
Oh,
So
It's
far, I'm
good,
finding
pretty
it
good.
good. I
but
actually
yeah,
bought the both Dishonored and Dishonored 2, so I might try both of them.
like I want to see more Art Deco stuff. I want to see more of that because I love that. I love it so much. That's why I have that font. That's a font from BioShock.
Oh,
Mm.
Ah,
Bioshock is like a
I mean, the
mix of
fact
Art
is,
Deco and
like, modeling
dystopia.
is hard, right? And so
Yes.
it's very easy to make this like classic contemporary, like cube tables with texture.
Yeah,
Some of that stuff, yeah, and so like even when I do worlds, sometimes I model a lot of the stuff, but a lot of times, like, I will just buy the assets because someone has already spent months creating
that is
excellent
also
content.
something. Like people criticize this model
Oops.
sometimes. Like the jacket is modeled, the hair is modeled, the eyes are modeled, the swimsuit is modeled, the tail, the boots, they're all modeled from scratch. But the body is a base. And people were like, "Well, why isn't that made from scratch?" And I'm like, "Why would you?
Mhm.
When there's a perfectly like adjustable body out there with like especially hands and feet, enjoy, make them yourself, go ahead. But when you're going with like an anime-ish body type or a cartoony body type, it's nicer to have something to work with. But if you go with your own
Yeah,
art
it's like a little
style, of
base.
course you're gonna model it yourself. But for something like this, it's just a lot better to start with something which you can alter
That's always a
Mhm.
good way to learn too. See how
because it saves a lot
other
of
people
time
do their weight
and
painting and
money.
stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, because I'm
For example,
learning how
Nintendo
to do
hands.
that.
I learned so much from Nintendo hands. Like all
Nintendo
the Breath of the
hand.
Wild hands, the way that they do the vertices on all the fingers and weight paint them and
Oh
stuff.
yeah.
Like
Like they add like edge
there's
loops around the joints and.
triangular ones and they're super low poly, but they move very well, right? Whereas like I modeled these myself and you can tell.
You can
So
learn
Yeah,
so much from Switch models, like the normal maps, the specular maps. They are astounding.
yep.
They are mind blowing. The things they do to make the games perform the way they are on the Switch, while still having models that look fantastic. When you like extract the files and you start searching through them through the materials and the specular maps and the normal maps, you're like, wow, that is something else. Because it is. It is astounding.
Invisible dog.
Oh no.
Hey buddy.
Make it
I
look high
got an
quality,
invisible cat
but
scratching at my door.
Dang it.
well,
I don't like cats scratching at doors, and I told you why.
well,
What?
Oh,
for
didn't
me
I?
they rarely do.
I'm not
So.
gonna tell. It's kind of personal.
Ah, sure.
Okay,
Personal
I'm gonna
reasons.
close this document though.
Reasonable.
Oh, we still have 30 minutes. What? So yeah, experiences. Well, I when I started, I had like the memes. You had the Ben Swolo and the Knuckles and somebody
Yeah.
touched my spaghetti, and it's you always see the memes, and I like that.
Mhm.
When a new meme comes around, someone will make it. So someone will make it happen, and I like that too. Um, and then I got really absorbed by Danganronpa community for a long time. I did a
Well, until
lot of
Trauma
stuff
broke out.
there. We used to hang
But
around in a hotel Mirai like all the time,
Mhm.
but that doesn't happen anymore. Everyone kind
Yeah,
of
because
diverted into
it's
their
laggy as
own
shit.
groups.
Yeah, they're separated. Now you just hop back and forth, see what's
Yeah.
up with them.
Yeah,
And there are even
everyone.
more and more groups just
Yeah.
stacking up.
Yeah, but it's a kind of a shame. But then I founded my own group at some point, and we're still a group. We're still a group, and it's a good group.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
also
it's
something that's very nice about VRChat is that you meet people that are like minded that you wouldn't have ever met without VRChat the way you know them now.
Mhm.
Oh, totally.
Like VRChat is,
Yep.
despite it being like virtual reality, wacky fun times, it is still very personal. Like I said, when I met up with someone from VRChat, they're the same person. Even though they look different, they don't act different. And I think it is very hard to act differently in VRChat. Like being a
Well,
different person than you are in real. Like, sure, you can be a little more confident, you can be a little less clumsy, but to the core, you're always yourself.
yeah,
Mhm.
that might be like why I like this game, because yeah, like I'm wacky in this game, but like I'm exactly the same in real life,
Yeah.
and that's not really compatible with a world filled with normies.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, no, but that's why I like about, well, just the regular VR chat community. Streamers are a whole other bag of nuts, but like the regular people you meet on a daily basis, they are very real. They're very real
Yeah.
people. They
I mean, in
don't.
some ways, I would say that like you can be more yourself in
Yeah,
VR than you can in real life, because in real life, you know, like anywhere you have to take on whatever role, whether you're like at work or at school or
yeah, I feel you. I
yeah.
like I currently work at a graveyard. I can't just make a joke and dab. That would be incredibly inappropriate.
I couldn't help it. I would
Just
just crack jokes all day.
Just dab at them.
Oh, I make a lot of jokes. One of my coworkers, he pointed to a plant. He said, "It's dead," and I poked him. I said, "That's with most stuff around there."
That's what most stuff around this. Yeah.
See, so
Hey, Dark
like I
humor
would
is a
like
good
name
humor.
all of the graves that are there and like talk to them, give them all their little personalities. Like I
Oh,
don't
no,
know, how are you like by yourself a lot of times,
No,
or are
no,
you
I,
like
I
with other
work I
people?
work together with someone. If you don't, things get really weird because the
I was
graveyard
gonna say like you
the
start
graveyard
getting
is
a little
very
bit
weird.
punchy.
But I find it very relaxing. Just cleaning and just murder. The best thing is when people come to visit and they tell you a story. That's the best thing. They tell you
Oh
Telling
really?
stories of
they tell
Interesting.
you about the person they're visiting, or they're telling you about experiences, or just talking about what they've done today. That's what I like. Just having casual.
What?
Oh no, Sefkin's
Don't mind me.
broke.
yo, GV. So like when you're working in the graveyard, are you ever like just digging and suddenly you find sats on the bed?
I've only worked with ash containers up until now, so I haven't seen the sands. But I'll keep my eyes out.
Oh.
I'll keep my eyes out for
Yeah,
sands.
keep your
That's
eyes
just
out.
post. That's just post-mortem sands. They turn to dust after they die. Remember?
Oh,
Hey, Mean, welcome to the
that was
stream.
too
No,
fucking.
Sans didn't do that. Sans just walked off.
True.
He walked
Okay,
out behind and he
anyway,
turned into
I
dust.
want your perspective, Sefkin. So you've been playing this game about as long as me and Rock, but how is your experience after such a long time as a desktop user? Because we eventually all transitioned into
Yeah, you
VR.
actually.
But how do you like how do you like desktop?
I mean, it's okay-ish, and plus the progression of model making has been a little bit slow. But compared to the other people, they just learned everything in one get-go. For me, it's like first I learned how to upload the model. First I learned how to
Oh,
use Blender.
it's like that for
Later,
everyone.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah,
a lot of people.
and then later I learned how to retexture things, and now I'm in the transition of
Your-
I'm learning how to add
Your
facial
texture
gestures.
edits are clean as fuck, though.
Yes,
Yeah,
they're really good.
I'm mastering it. I'm getting a little better at it.
Cool. I like.
Everyone
I like
starts
the
out somewhere.
stuff
I
you
remember
do.
my first avatar. Like I jumped into this game, and like just a few hours into gameplay, I was already trying to upload my first avatar and discovered I needed a VRChat account, etc.
Yeah,
It's pretty good.
I still
brilliant.
like it, especially the one with the wrongly rigged hand, like the very first one with the giant left hand. That's the best one.
Which one?
The Athena
You mean
one. You don't have it anymore, but it had its hand wasn't rigged properly, so whenever you turned, your fingers would get really long.
Oh,
That's
I
your
remember
first
that.
model.
Oh,
Yeah.
I really shouldn't have thrown that one away. Oh, yes.
Well,
Yeah.
and if
So
I'm
it's
planning,
like when I pointed, it would like.
yeah. Yeah. Atira,
I'm also
psych. Oh man.
Wow.
Yeah, I was afraid of making my own models at first, but Rock was really into it, and Rock is my real life best friend. So I was just like, "Hey, Rock, can't you just teach me?" So without having to go through every single tutorial that Tupper made, I just
well,
sat
I do
sat an
not use Topper
afternoon. I
tutorials.
sat around an
Oh,
afternoon
that
with
existed a
Rock
while ago, though.
and Cats.
But, I use tutorials from others, from
Yeah.
my community people, and
Yeah.
I have them saved into like a playlist as called the VRChat Model Maker 101.
But yeah,
It's like an instruction booklet.
I was really scared to update my own model because back in the day, like Cats wasn't very prominent, and the original process of converting an MMD file into a VRChat avatar was a hellscape. But Rock and I actually work together on a very concise and swift system in which we can port avatars in like 5 minutes, maybe,
Yeah,
with
it's
little
just a
guides.
checklist basically.
Yeah,
Like porting avatars turns into a checklist. After a while, you just do this, do that,
yeah,
and
but
you're
the
done.
first time is very intimidating. I gotta admit,
Mhm.
like the first time I wanted to upload something, I got really nervous. Yeah, it's just like
We all
this
learn from our
giant
failures, and
wall, but once
there's really
you
not
jump
much at
over
stake.
it, but
Yeah,
like
I agree with that. Trial and error.
it's a giant wall, and once you jump over it, you're done. You're in, and then you can like the more you do it, the more easier it gets. And now I'm dabbling into particles, but also because I know people that are like really good, it's kind of intimidating to touch. But I try. I've set myself to go. But right now I'm waiting into the transition for 2017 to go on with like bigger projects
Yeah,
because
same.
I still want things to function and I want to use the new systems to create new things. That's it.
Although
Yeah.
I'm also planning to like remaster a few models.
Yeah, yeah.
Such
Updating
yeah.
old models is very fun. Is what I found. Like I've recently redid one of my first models, and yeah, it just looks a lot better now. It feels a lot better. It has interesting gestures. It's just nice to bring something old back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of bringing things all back, where's that old model I had back then?
Oh
There
no,
we go.
what's this?
Oh yeah, I remember
Oh
that one.
yeah, that's your
Yeah.
first Chiaki. I like that one though.
Yeah, it's the first model that I retextured and edited slightly.
Mm-hmm.
Good memories. Good
Yeah,
memories.
anyways.
And what
Oh
about
my!
you,
Oh no, it's
doggies?
even worse.
Oh no. What, doggies, what got you into VR chat? Like what made you stay?
Okay.
Because when we met, you weren't very excited. You were like, "Yeah, this game's gonna die in 2 weeks." Right?
That's true.
Yeah, I'm still like that though.
But it's been
True.
6 months now.
Yeah, but okay. So the way I got into this game is actually a pretty interesting story.
Oh,
So like I've known about VRChat for like quite some time, but like I think it was like in January or February. I just one night I had a dream where I downloaded and played VRChat. so when I
those
woke,
dreams.
I just dead ass did it.
well, I got into VR chat because I saw a video called Ernie Gang. I don't know who made it. I don't know where it came from, but I watched it and I thought it was really funny. And then I was
Yeah,
like,
so
I kind of want that too. And then I saw friends of mine playing it because like jumping into a social game by yourself is So I
Yeah.
got together with a friend and we said, well, let's just give it a go. And there we were, desktop
Yes.
fun.
Yes. And then
that-
I joined
I
you
am
as
about to
well.
continue.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so yeah, and like once I downloaded it, at first I was like a Steve user going around as Knuckles and shit. But like, once I made my own account, like it wasn't really that hard to get into avatar creation because like I've already used Unity for like I used like for 5 years then, like now I'm like almost 6. So yeah, so but like I just discovered that like fucking like everything that you learned about like that's like good practice in you gets throughout now after being builder wants to make avatars.
Yeah. I like the dream part. I
Yes.
dreamt
Yeah.
about VRChat, so I just went and did it.
It's actually true.
Yes.
Well, I do remember
I often
when
have those type of dreams.
when
you
I
do a certain
played
event and that.
when I played like 8 hours a day because I still was unemployed and I was really bored. When I went to bed, I dreamed about VRChat.
Tetris effect.
Doesn't all niggers who play this game do that?
I don't know. You should ask them.
I mean, I do that.
I don't dream about VRChat anymore. No.
I'd still dream about Unity because it's the last thing I do before I go to bed every night. So always have
Same,
Unity dreams.
relatable.
Unity dream.
Oh, I remember my early desktop days. The one thing that I liked about desktop is being able to like work on stuff in the
Yeah.
background while you're still like sort of participating in the conversation that you're currently in.
Yeah, that was good. That was fun, and it's
That's
still
true.
possible
And then-
in
and then-
VR,
and
but
then-
it's
Just like while you were conversing, like someone would have something new to show off because they made in the meantime or whatever.
yeah.
It's pretty fun.
And you'd alt tab, and it's like and then you get back. Yeah,
Especially with Trouser. Damn, Trouser would just like hold up. I'm just gonna.
yeah.
then he
Trouser
would just, like,
would
be like
take
this
off
for
his
1 minute.
glasses, be gone for like 10 minutes, and then bring back a meme.
Yes.
That was good. That was good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, funny thing, when I brought Rock into it, he was very reluctant. He didn't see he didn't want to play, and I said, "Come on, man, it's fun. I've been having a blast. I've been like when I started playing VRChat, was laughing nonstop, and I was just in desktop, just hanging out with people, and I just had a whale of a time. And yeah, eventually we got into it together, and it's more fun when you have like real life friends that are into this game as well, because you can meet up, you can chit chat, you can discuss things, you can try and get other people in here, because I'm also trying to get another friend of mine to play this game, and actually another mutual friend of Rock and I, they bought a new computer and they bought a VR headset just to chill with us in VRChat. And that's the kind of nice thing. It's really nice. I like it. I like VRChat, and I'm looking forward to seeing more, because honestly,
Yeah.
like after I did the Halloween stream, I became a lot more positive.
Oh, there's so much good Halloween content.
Oh hey,
It
legends.
was really good.
Yes.
Speaking.
Sorry.
But yeah, the Halloween contest really brought the best out of a few people, and the things I've seen, especially the Shadow Gun map, the abandoned facility, I love it. That's the kind of stuff I'd
Yeah, that
like
was
to
fun.
see. That's the kind of stuff I really like. Like, sure, Port de Normandy from Mass Effect. I'll sit around. I'll appreciate it, but I will never appreciate it as much as the games I've played. And soon, it's gonna be a little longer, because Lakuza is waiting for the 2017 update. But soon, we'll have the Luxurian premiere on this channel. and we're gonna do everything that this map has to offer together with Lakuza, and it's gonna be a blast.
It's gonna take you 5 hours.
Yes.
I know. And I got a
Yeah,
lot of
that's gonna be
I
a
need a
pain in the
lot of
ass, but
boo
whatever.
juice to plow through that.
Yeah, same.
Uh,
Uh,
I was about to.
so like,
Oh yeah.
Yeah, what is it?
So, how much will you bet? In how? I
Speak.
was about to say. Oh
Come
yeah.
on. You can do it.
With they say that they're gonna release it in like a couple of weeks. When do you think they're gonna release it?
Maybe
Nobody
New
knows.
Year's. I don't know. Is
Yeah,
that
I'd
rock
say
next to
around
you?
December.
Yes, it is. It is rock.
Huh?
So it's
Yeah,
somewhere
Legends
around. I
asked
would-
if that
Oh.
was you, and it is you.
Yes,
Yeah.
hello. Subdued.
I'll say it would be
Yeah, when
around,
are they gonna release it? Well, honestly, fuck if I know.
Yeah,
Nobody knows.
I would say roughly around mid-December.
Yeah, that's what
It's gonna
I'm
be fairly
hoping
soon.
for. God
It's gonna be
damn it.
fairly soon, considering people aren't reporting a lot of bugs. I haven't encountered any bugs other than the render texture thing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
I'm not really qualified to make a canny on that. That's the problem. I think Quantum's the most qualified person. I've already bugged him about him in the Discord.
yeah. Legend
yeah,
says,
but I
hey.
give it.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, like you said that like your experience was like getting a real life friend to VRChat.
Yeah.
Well, I don't have any real life friends in VRChat, but that's because I have no real life friends. Period.
Fair
So, like,
enough.
my experience game was getting friends.
Well, that's also something about VR chat. Like, it brings people like doggies who are incredibly autistic and awkward out into the world to make friends. No, I'm making
That's
a
true.
joke.
Yeah.
I'm
Nah,
making a joke.
there's a kernel of truth to it, though.
It's true. I do have autism.
Oh wow.
I mean, I have autism, and this game has really helped me, like, sort of learn to speak with people, not just in VRChat, but in the real world too. And I've definitely noticed myself improving over the last couple of months.
That's true. That's true. But it also helped that you stuck around me for 7 years.
Yeah, what do you mean?
We learned a lot from each other.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like socially.
Mhm.
Because I used to be a real cunt.
Fair enough.
Can I just agree to that?
You don't know 12-year-old me.
Hey, at some point, people were assholes.
Yeah,
At some age.
probably. Yeah, everyone's an asshole. Until proven differently.
Yo, you should have seen like 30-year-old me. I was like a massive homophobe.
Guilty as proven innocent.
What was I when I was 14? I was very unguided, I'd say. I was very loud, and obnoxious. I'm still.
Oh, I had to grow up to get loud and obnoxious.
Oh, really? You were very silent as a young bab.
Oh yes. No, I was much quieter when I was younger.
Yeah. Well, if I have any life lesson for this episode is, don't be afraid to be yourself. If people don't like you when you're being yourself, then they're not the right people. That's all I'm gonna say.
Basically, just keep searching.
Yeah, just keep searching until you can find someone who can stomach your imperfections.
Well, who can share your interests, I guess.
Yeah. Fiona, Legends loves you.
I love you, Legends.
Legends, stop
see you soon.
it, or I'm gonna call the president.
Excuse me.
Wait, what?
This is too wholesome.
President.
I'm gonna call Trump. Well, first I'm gonna call Kanye West.
We can't
I'm
have any
gonna
of
I'm gonna
this.
call Kanye West, and I'm gonna tell him to tweet at Trump, so we can get a okay, Kanye, very cool.
Thank you, Kanye. Very cool.
Thank you, Kanye. Very cool. So yeah, we have a little bit of time left. Is there something you guys would like to talk about? Something you guys want to discuss before we end?
Oh, oops.
Like a little thing you want to say to the viewers? Or to
Yeah,
us?
I have an important thing that I'd like to talk about, which is how is it possible that Legends is the most adorable human being of all time?
I'm gonna quit the
That's-
stream. It's
Yeah,
over.
let's just cut this out.
It's over.
Yeah. I
You are
have
not
a
on
question.
there.
Yes.
Which?
Do you know the way?
Oh hell.